It's another edition of How to Drink Bar Basics, the show where I share with you tips, tricks, tools, techniques that you can use to make better drinks at home right now. It's very bright outside. Woo! How to Drink Bar Basics is brought to you by Article. Article makes fantastic mid-century modern inspired design furniture. It's really well-made stuff. They ship most orders for $50 or less. They have beautiful things. They are always expanding their catalog. I couldn't be happier with it. If you've been watching the show, you've seen the Article bar that I am presenting from in my home. If you're a fan of the show and you want to help me out, follow the link in the show description and maybe buy your own. I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. Oh, what is this episode about? This episode is going to be about zesters and knives, primarily. Zesters and knives. So in this episode of Bar Basics, we're going to talk about zesters, we're going to talk about channel knives, we're going to talk about juicers. These things are not really rocket science. I don't know how useful this conversation is going to be. Maybe this episode is kind of a dud. Let's start with knives. I know there's a couple of really nice products out there that are very fancy knives. Those are lovely. Those are great tools. I don't have any. I actually have a pretty decent set of kitchen knives. These are Wustdorf kitchen knives, and that's what I use. I just really, honestly, like, if it cuts stuff, it's kind of the right knife for me, and I have no complaint about them. For basic cuts, I'm gonna either use this chef knife, the small chef's knife, or the Santoku. And sometimes I'll use my paring knife if that's what's at hand, but a lot of citrus, which is primarily what I'm cutting. This is a little small for, but in a pinch, if you're handy, you can grab a peel. Not my preferred method of peeling, but just because it's labor intensive, but you do a pretty decent job, very little pith on there. They make like some fancy knives and stuff like that now that are specifically for bartending that have like a little fork at the end. That seems useful. It's an expensive product as far as I know, and it's not something I need to spend money on, and I don't think it's something you need to spend money on either. If you have a knife that cuts things in half, it's probably the right knife. I would stay away from a serrated knife. I'll say that. You want to be using non-serrated knives for anything you're cutting here. I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory, but maybe it's not. Serrated knives are for like bread, maybe steak, maybe. That's knives. I don't got a lot to say about knives, I'm sorry. Channel knives are interesting. I have two. I have one that goes sideways, which is an Economois. That's like the brand. It's also a style of peeler, which this is not. And this one, which goes, you pull it towards you, this is a Messermeister. I prefer the sideways one. I bought this in a pinch, actually, because I had left this one at home and I needed another one, and this is what was available. We're gonna pull our trusty orange up. This is nice. It has a very deep groove, right? So, oh, geez. But something about this action, I find it really hard to pull a continuous strip. Gets a lot of orange. I don't know if that was showing up or not, but there's a lot of oils spraying out of this thing. Did they land on the lens? No. I find it hard to get like a very long pull off of that. However, this, just because of the way you hold it, I mean, literally, I could do this all day. And I mean, I can change directions. We can steer all kinds of crazy things here. We could pull pretty much this entire orange peel off using this guy. And you can make these really long zest ribbons. You know, and that's kind of ridiculous to be able to steer it that way so that you could even use the same fruit multiple times. If you're doing a horse's neck cocktail, this is the style I would prefer. You know, you should be able to get either of these for under $10 and they should last you pretty much forever. It feels like this has a loose kind of tang, but it's never fallen out, and I don't think it's ever going to. I think it's fine. Just kind of for the wear and tear it goes through. As far as a peeler goes, this style, which I think is called a Swiss style, is my favorite. This is a Kuhn Rikon, which is Switzerland. You can get these in a lot of different types. They make some that have jagged teeth on them. That is not really what you want here. And these are real cheap as well. These are like $3. And they're great. You can just very easily pull a very clean, wide strip off of a piece of fruit with this. Nice pretty uniform as far as a peeler goes. Some people are definitely better at this than me. Light pith, not too much. With peels like that, you kind of want to minimize your pith. It is the bitter part. The oils are more fragrant, and they're not part of the pith, they're part of the skin. Zesters. Basically, a zester is a grater. There is a tool that's a zester, has 3 little holes on it. I have not yet found a need for that. Also, that's what this is, by the way. Technically, this little doodad right here, as far as I know, most of these peelers have some kind of a loop on one side. As far as zesters go, I use microplane. Microplane graters are awesome. The one that I use in the bar is this one, which is a fine Pro Series one. Why do I use the Pro Series one? Because it has a wooden handle and it looks good on camera. That's really it. It looks nice. They're all basically the same product. This is a coarse one that I got for making tomato sauce from tomatoes. It's a laser cut foil. Like all graters, they're a little bit dicey to clean because your sponge will get chewed up in it and you have to go one direction. They're razor sharp, so you have to actually be kind of careful with these. They will really rip your skin off. But boy, can you, I mean, just ever so lightly pulling like that, you can pull tons and tons of zest. It's got such a nice, thin draw that you can see we're actually not even getting into the pith, right? Just the outer surface of the lemon. So that's so fragrant here. It's a very lovely smell. That's where I'm at with those. You've seen me use this on the show a bunch of times. This is nothing more than a hand juicer, a hand squeezer, a citrus juicer, a beehive juicer. Got a couple different names. I think a beehive juicer is a slightly different style. This is a stainless steel one. I'll make it available on the website. It is the primary juicer you should be using for everything up to small oranges, because you're really this is the best way to get the most out of your juicing. A lot of times the first time someone picks this up, they think, oh, it goes like that because it matches the shape. This is the wrong way to use it. It goes, you cut your citrus in half, you go cut side down, and you want to actually, what's going to happen when you press this, it'll invert and really maximize its juice. Those are my preferred tools. Is there any tricks to these? Not really. Maybe this one. I had been told by I think Sam Ross, that the way to properly use one of these is to rotate the fruit, not the peeler. I don't know. I think it's a little bit of in between there. I don't know that you can safely isolate the peeler and only rotate the fruit. I always tend to skin my knuckles every time I try to do that. That's it, guys. This has been Bar Basics knives, peelers, and zesters. A very limited subject. A quick look at how to use them, and my thoughts on what I like in a tool. If you like the show, I hope you'll subscribe. If you're watching this one, you probably already are subscribed. I tweeted How to Drink. I'm on Instagram at How to Drink. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/howtodrink. I have a blog at thisishowtodrink.com. That's this week's episode of Bar Basics Chaser 101. Well, I don't know what I'm calling this show. It's got so many names. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you on Friday with a cocktail. Light is a little wild here. A little wild, a little spotty, a little blotchy. Now I'm in a tunnel, so the sound is weird. Whoa!